I think that one of the coolest things that I saw here was the presentation of, what was it, the panel manager that we saw yesterday? Pain relief. Yeah. How many people thought that was really cool? That's awesome. Let's go find it. Okay, I want to use it. So we talk about creating all this code reuse. We talk about these ideas. That's really pretty cool. I'm going to argue that the value of these meetings is greatly diminished because of what I'm about to demonstrate. Let's go get this pain thing. Does anybody remember what it's called?
Pain relief.
Pain relief. Pain relief. There's already laughter. This is great. What's the problem? What could possibly go wrong? Pain relief LabVIEW. That seems pretty fair? Cool.
Oh. You use quotes.
Quotes. That's going to help.
Just don't pay.
Google Foods beats.
Okay. I've already spent too much time on this. How else? Do what?
If you search correctly on GitHub, pain relief, you will find out.
Okay, so.
Just sending it online.
All right, so there's this thing called VI Package Manager. I think you've all heard of it. That's one of the spots where we store our code. Surely it's in there. Pain. Nope. There's NI Package Manager. I know that there's some code inside of there. Maybe I did. Well, no. What else we got? Lava. Let's go to lava. Okay, am I beating a dead horse in the ground? Where else can I search? NI.com. Git.
No.
Medical. Hotline. Even better. Let's get Navigator again. Okay. If you're anything like me, I start. I'm a very impassioned person. I talk with my hands a lot. I describe emotion. This is frustrating. This is infuriating. This is embarrassing. As a community, we can't even work together. We literally can't give our code away in a way that we all can benefit from it and use it. We need to stop being frustrated with G. It's not G's fault. It's just that we can't use each other's work. We need to start getting going with G. And the badges that you have on your table have that logo. We're going to be talking about a new initiative. The whole entire point is to stop with the frustration and to actually be successful using the tool and the language that we all love. So, how are we going to do that? That's what we're going to be talking about. I have the honor to introduce to you this thing called GCentral. Myself and Cilino are going to be up here presenting. We're going to take a couple of the people up here as well here shortly. So, welcome to GCentral. It's all about getting going with G. We're talking about empowering the LabVIEW community for what? What's our vision? We want a LabVIEW community making the best version of itself. What we really mean is to create a code base and a set of tools that span all aspects of our software tasks, continuous delivery, automated, whatever. We want to be able to make those the best tools possible and get those used across the community. So that means improving our collective capability through collaboration. That's what we're shooting for. So who are we? GCentral is first off for programmers, okay, who need to find, share, or collaborate on G reusable code or software engineering tools. That's what we're all about. The nature of our organization, nonprofit. Okay, so we're nonprofit that provides a platform for G code packages and these collaboration resources. And perhaps most importantly, we're independent, self-governing, and we view every other organization on the planet as a peer, somebody we want to work with. But what I appreciate is we're kind of guiding our own destiny in conjunction with everybody else. So, pretty cool. Now, who are we? Who are we? So a little bit of the organization and the folks that are behind us. We just incorporated legally on the 18th of this month. And we have a board of directors. We have Quentin Alldredge, Fabiola De La Cueva, and then we have Daniel Joby, who's over in the Netherlands. And then I'm the president. So before we go any further, we have two of our board members in this room, and I want to give you a couple seconds, a couple minutes, if you guys like, to talk about to talk about your excitement and what you guys think of GCentral.
First. I go first. So Chris asked me to just spend like 30 seconds on why I wanted to be involved with this. And the reason why I think GCentral is important is not just because, yeah, the problems that we're trying to solve that Jeremy talked about in code distribution, trying to find code and all of that, with the community edition coming on. The aspect that I see most is when you're learning any other programming language, what do? You have a problem to solve, you go Google it, you go try to find a library, and you start learning the code based on libraries that you download. That's how I started learning Python, is I wanted to solve a problem, and so I went and started finding that. So what I see here is we're a group of power users in the G community. I see us, we're the mentors of the G community. And we're going to be responsible in helping all of these new programmers that will be coming on board because of the LabVIEW Community Edition. So that's why I want to be involved with GCentral.
Okay, to me, it has not come across. I love LabVIEW. I have pretty much an unhealthy relationship with LabVIEW. And I wanted to see it going on. When Chris told me about it, I was excited. And then I saw Jeff K being excited about it. And I saw it as a way of contributing to a very, very, very small part of Jeff's legacy and give back to the LabVIEW community and get to that goal that he said one time at NIW, which was LabVIEW everywhere. So I think the only way we're gonna get that is if it is easy to find, to share, collaborate, so we can mentor the next generation that's coming. I'm really old now, but that's why I got excited about this.
Fantastic. Okay, so that's the board of directors, the president. There's more to this organization. We've been talking about this internally for about 9 months, maybe a year now. I've lost track of time. And so we put together a steering committee of sorts, and there's some pretty cool people on here. So I'm going to let you take a look at this list just real quick. Jeff K, John B, Brian Powell, Bob Lewis, Brian Hoover, Michael, I can never pronounce his last name.
Michael A.
Michael A. And then Derek Pinion.
Michael R.
Michael R, right. So I had a couple of board members come up. I would like to invite one of our steering committee members to come up and tell us why he is excited about GCentral and his thoughts.
So I'll give a little more background. About 4 or 5 years ago, Chris and I were starting to work together a little bit more, going to CLA Summit, brainstorming and stuff. I really enjoyed working with creative, enthusiastic people. But then he left to go work for Cirrus. And so he actually created and trained a respectable LabVIEW development team there, so that's good. But I missed the opportunity to be working with him. Well, fast forward to early this year, and he contacted me and said he's thinking about making a change in his career. He's got this idea. It sounded like a grandiose idea to focus on the LabVIEW community, to facilitate, make it really simple to share code, share best practices, collaborate, and you know, I was excited about this. I think this is a great vision, intrigued by it, and you know, trying to brainstorm with them about, well, you know, how could this work? The more we talked, the more we realized that having this be a community-led effort by the community, for the community, and having it autonomous, separate from NI, was really a big advantage. And furthermore, as a nonprofit organization, it would avoid having conflicting goals. The only reason the organization exists is to support the community. So Chris pulled together a small group. I think we're all in the room here, actually. And And we started brainstorming and meeting and talking about this, and it continued to evolve to what you see today as GCentral. So it's at the beginning of this journey, and it is coinciding with our release of a free version of LabVIEW. So I think these two initiatives are going to really spur interest in LabVIEW and build the community and raise the level of excitement and innovation in our community. So I'm excited about it, and I'm counting on all of you leaders in the community to help make these initiatives successful. So I hope you share my enthusiasm, and let's see what great results we can drive here.
Okay, so that's kind of been the leadership and folks who've helped guide the vision we're going to be talking about. Excuse me. There's another really important set of people that I've got to talk to, and that's our volunteers. We've already got some people who are doing some work to make this vision a reality, and I cannot give high enough praise to Matthias Mugo from Studio Box. He has done almost single-handedly, 99.9% of the lion's share of a prototype that we're going to be showing you today. PS, all done in LabVIEW NXG. PS, all open source and on GitHub. We'll talk about that in just a second. And then Steve Shankar, one of the guys that I got the chance to work with from Soliton while I was at Cirrus Logic. So we've already got people who are willing to give their time, and there's some really demonstrable results we're going to be showing you in a second. That's who we are. Like Jeff said, though, who are we doing this for? That would be all of us. GCentral is all about the community. Specifically, we need to be able to work together. We need to be able to share code, find each other's code, work on the same code base together to make the tools that we need. And there are lots of different people in our community. We've got us, the folks who are the leaders, and then like Jeff was just mentioning, the community edition, I expect that number to grow significantly. And having the availability of code at their fingertips to get their jobs done is going to help them out a whole bunch. So it's all about us in the community. I want to emphasize that. It's not a technology, regularly a website. GCentral serves you all. That's the point. All right, let me rephrase that with a different graphic that's going to walk us through the rest of our presentation. I'm not even going to get through all this. So we want folks to be able to find and discover each other's code. We want to be able to contribute our code out to the world easily, quickly, minimize the cost for that. We want to be able to work together on a code base, easily and simply. And ideally, we do all of that with confidence. Okay, so we're going to start off with find and discover. This is what we're calling phase one of all of GCentral's efforts. There's a lot of phases, and there's more even than these four. We'll probably get to that. That's okay. So find and discover. What is the world like today? Check this out. Oh, sorry. Disclaimers. My bad. We're not looking to seek another or make a new standard. That's not what this is. We don't want to actually be creative. We don't want to put new IP in place. So we're not really doing anything terribly novel. In fact, what we're going to be showing you has already been done in lots of other languages like Python. So that's the first disclaimer, nothing new. Second one, it's still under construction. Right, so this is our best guess, what we're going to be doing in the immediate term, and we've got longer term plans, blah, 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 blah. All disclaimers, I think, have now been officially stated. All right, what's the world like today? This is what I showed you earlier. I'm a user in the community. I want to go find something. Where do I go? For the love of Mike, the NI Tools Network, Lava, we have NI Package Manager, G Package Manager, VI Package Manager, Git, the discussion forums. This is ridiculous. And I understand that there's a history behind here. I actually just got a question on LinkedIn, like, why doesn't the community just use one repository? At which point all of us go, yeah, we get it. So I want to re-represent this situation a little bit more simplified and through the lens of our current package manager situation, because I think that's what a lot of us like to use. So this is the world that we know today. We have a couple of repositories out there. Everything in yellow is VI packages, blue is NI packages, gray is G packages. And there's two main repositories of VI packages, JKI's Tools Network, which is fantastic, and the LabVIEW Tools Network, and you access those things through at least VI Package Manager, the web, and there's 2 different web portals depending on what you're trying to get to. And there's reasons behind that, I get it. There's the NI Package Manager repository, which is behind the closed walls of NI. It's not like we can put anything there to broadcast out to the world. But you get to that stuff through NI Package Manager. And then you have G Package Manager, which is probably the most open and easily accessible to date. So you can put anything that you want in G Package Manager, you hit a publish button, oh, it makes it out to the world. And there are 2 manifestations that you can get through G packages, the web and through an application. So that's the world as it stands today. The not novel thing that GCentral wants to do is the following. A single website that allows you to query all of those repositories. This is not terribly innovative or even terribly complicated necessarily, but it means that I as a user can go to one place and start typing things in and all of the results are going to pop up, God willing. I don't care what the package management type is. As a user, I don't care how it's packaged. I'm a brand new user to LabVIEW. I need my code. I have a task at hand. I don't care how you people package it. Okay, some of the other things that GCentral would like to make easy is us. We have our work. We want to push it out to the world. I need to do that with these split. Well, these repositories kind of sort of make it easy. Maybe you want to have your own repository for the world. I just need a place where I can put my code so people can get their hands on it, which is what we're planning on bringing into existence. So this new file share out there that will host all 3 types of packages. It'd be pretty cool. But I don't want this thing to be accessible only through GCentral. I don't want a new walled garden. That's a pain. So whatever's in GCentral needs to be accessible through the already existing avenues. So that's what all those wires are. Okay, so the whole entire point is I need to be able to find and use my code. Find and use your else code. Questions there? Okay. So this is all neat. We have a demo I'd like to show you, and you all can actually go on your laptops right now or your cell phones to gcentral.org if you'd like. Or we have a video that I'm going to walk you through. Look at the video. So the next slide. Let's see. I don't know if it's clicked or not. Started. Okay, there we go. Yeah, this is GCentral, and thanks to Matthias, we've got this prototype. This is all LabVIEW NXG. And I say, I want to discover packages. Great, well there are my repos, and there are the different types of packages, and they're all displayed right there. And you can go searching. Say I want the DQ mesh. Fantastic. Which version would you want? They're all the versions right there. And I want to learn about what particular version. Great. There's everything you need to know. Sounds great. I like it. I want to get my hands on it. Download. Okay, now this isn't the ideal workflow, but it demonstrates that it's possible for you to at least get your hands on the code. Well, that's kind of cool. I've heard about these queue control things. So I know that if I search for QSI, I'm going to get some results. And there are actually results in both G Package Manager and VI Package Manager that all show up here. And you can sort by your type or whichever repo associated. So let's imagine that I want to get, was it the calendar or something? All right. And this is hosted, I think, in GPM. Now, in this case, I'm not downloading the package. I'm redirecting to the Git site that hosts the code. And again, there's improvements for workflow here. There's lots of work that can be done. The whole entire point is, from a single interface, I was able to learn quickly about a thing and be able to get my hands on it. That's kind of nice. We kind of need that. All of this is available in NXG. I forget the next slide. Right. So Matthias has put all of this together. And again, this is all NXG WebEx. If you've been looking for an excuse to maybe start learning NXG, maybe this is it. And there's the Git repository. So if you'd like to contribute, this is your first avenue. If you think this is a good idea, this is your first avenue. Help us out. Pull out your phone, take a picture. Fork the code or contribute.
We can get to that just by going to the GCentral website.
Wouldn't that be nice? Yes, well, that's a great idea.
We mentioned under construction.
That's correct. That would really be fantastic.
Good idea.
And yeah, I like that idea. But at least it's there today. And yeah, we'll put that up on the website. By the way, there's a body of knowledge about GCentral growing on the LabVIEW Wiki, and I have that link on the LabVIEW Wiki for GCentral. Okay, pressing on to workflows.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. Go
I'm
ahead.
using some people.
Oh, question.
Your first problem graphic, you had 5 or 6 different repos, including Git and Lava, but your solution graphic only had 3.
That's correct. Is there a disconnect? Yes, construction. How are we going to connect all this stuff together? I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. There might be encouragement from GCentral to the masses to say, I know that you download your packages or some packages on Lava and maybe some packages on ni.com. Consider uploading them to this one spot that then gets broadcast out to the rest of the world. I don't know. Yes, that does need to get solved. I agree. Other thoughts? Okay, the workflow. So we showed you a workflow. That's
There's a
really,
question over there.
oh, my bad. Shoot.
To GitHub, GCentral, and if somebody else is another open source project, is that a link to the GitHub GCentral page?
If somebody invents another,
They have a skill style like list of all the projects.
oh, so you're saying inside of GitHub, so like you're saying in GitHub, maintain like a master dictionary of all of the GitHub repos out in the world? So what we're thinking is, so, right, so, okay, there's a couple of ways that we can solve that problem. Maybe there's an automated way of doing what you're suggesting, or each package has its own product page that lists the repo where it lives. So, really, GCentral, you go to GCentral and you say, I want to learn about DQMH. DQMH says, oh, if you want to contribute, or here's the
Two controls will be open.
yeah, Q controls, or even like John was saying yesterday, the NBA framework for composed systems. But the link should be on the product page. Product page should be the one, and I'll show you what that product page will look like. But that's a really good thought. It's just making it my one-stop shop so I can do what I would like to do, which, God, there's so much to talk about. We just started a new discussion forum on Lava. So if you go to Lava, you'll see GCentral. One of the things we're looking for are user stories, like, I'm a developer who wants to contribute, and I really kind of just want to go to one place to figure out what are all the Git repos. How do I do that? So that's a user story.
It looks like there's a GCentral.com, which is the first search.
Right. So how do we get GCentral.org promoted up inside of Google? Lots of different ways we can do that. Yeah, this is all under construction, right? We got lots of work to do.
Do it .org, not .com.
Yeah, .org, not .com. Okay, so what's the ideal workflow we're envisioning? So you as the user go to GCentral, you do your search, GCentral figures out which repo to grab stuff from, and then it would be nice if we could invoke the package manager programmatically that's responsible for installing the thing. The package manager comes up, installs that thing, and maybe all of its dependencies, and now you're off to the races. So that's a potential workflow that we're going to do. Okay, cool. Pressing on. Let's imagine that we solve all of these problems. It's easy to find my code, you can get package managers to install stuff. I think that we fundamentally have an uncomfortable circumstance in our community today. We've been dancing around the issue a little bit. I'm codifying it here. Right now, the package managers cannot list other package management technologies as dependencies. So that means if I want to make a G package that uses OpenG and distribute it out to everybody, I have to now give you install instructions, which is first open VI package manager and install OpenG, then you install my G package, and now everything is going to work. Or I bundle it all up in a zip file, which includes all of the dependencies. This is infuriating. Because we can't do inter-package management dependency, we, as the community, are suffering with 3 ecosystems of code. Our code is fractured by virtue of having 3 package managers. Now, I know how we got there. I get it. And I'm not saying that we should do one package manager or there's one package manager. That's a discussion I think that needs to happen. That's not what we're talking about here. I think that we have some ideas that could help out, and we're exploring those. But I want to surface this, that even if I get you all the packages, we still have an interdependency problem. Okay. If you haven't seen, maybe you're just becoming aware of all the different package managers. I've started this page on the LabVIEW Wiki that is a package manager comparison chart. Why do we have 3 different package managers to begin with? What are the unique qualifications, the unique properties of each one? There it is. And this is meant to be objective. There are no judgment calls inside of here like one is faster or one does something better. That's not a thing. Rather, it's open source or it's written in G versus in C. This is all objective stuff. So if you have additional data to add to this table, please do. If there's an inaccuracy here, fix it. Okay. Pressing on. Well, we're on lightning speed. Any thoughts before we move to the next phase? Okay. So I can find and discover, great, but we are probably pretty interested in figuring out how can I help other people. Like, you're like a panel manager that's pretty cool and I want to give it away. So that's what we're going to be talking about with contribute. This is different than co-development because we're not going to be working on the same code together. I have an idea that I want to give away. And again, this is under construction, so just another disclaimer. All right, so the first problem is I have this new idea. I built it. I went through all the trouble that we just talked about, that last 15% to build it. I've got a good API. I'm reading all this documentation. Where do I put it? Okay, again, it's the exact same problem. And here's what I feel like we are. I think that we're all marathon runners. They get to the last 2 feet, we see this, the finish line, and we die of a heart attack. And what I mean is, we do all of the work, and the benefit of that work is not realized because we don't know how to broadcast our efforts out so that other people can use it. That makes it a waste. And that's what we're going to try and solve. Okay, so where do you put it? Oh, go.
So one example is, what, during the last 2 days, or last 3 days, who has discovered a new tool that you never heard about before? Now, if you know, how many know that that tool has been out forever? Do you know if that tool's been out for a long time and you just didn't know about it? For example, my Q controls has been out since 2015. If you just learned about them today or yesterday, okay, that's one of the problems we're trying to solve.
Right, so that's 3 years you could have been saving time or doing things more efficiently, but you didn't. And his work got lost because nobody used it. Where do you put it? All right, so that's the first part. The second part of this problem, how are you going to build it? What are you going to turn it into? There's all kinds of reasons that you might turn it into an LLV or don't do a zip file. Maybe CPO, which package manager you all I want to do is have some software that has some value and give it to you people, and I have to face this. Not only that, once you decide how you want to package it, oh yeah, you have to learn all the nuances of each build process. And I think that we all know that is a non-trivial problem if you want to manually build. You want to automate that build process, and your blessings be upon you. Okay, so how is GCentral, how could we help with this? A couple of different ways. So we want to concentrate our effort into development, and maybe GCentral gives you a template starting point, a LabVIEW project that's designed to be put through a community build process that can take your code and turn it into all 3 package types. That'd be pretty great, so now you don't have to decide. I want to export as a VI package, a G package, and as an NI package build. Okay, cool. So we've got some tools and templates, a build process. And the other thing is, in this build process, you just hit the send button, publish. And those built artifacts are whisked away from your computer or wherever to the spot where it's broadcast across the world. Right, so this now simplifies the build and distribution problem so that you can finally concentrate on actually developing work for the community versus fighting build and distribution. Thoughts on that? Ooh, crickets. No. So let me get a feel from the audience. I'm going to put a thermometer out there. On a scale of 1 to 10, this is a good idea. This is kind of, I like it. It's just, how are we going to do this? How many of you think this is an okay idea?
What are the options going to be?
Right, okay. So from 0, which is this is going to cost way too much and nobody's going to use it, to 10, which is I don't care how much this is going to cost. Scale of 1 to 10, how many of you are 5 or above? Okay, that's pretty much the majority. Now the thermometer, how many of you are 7 above? Okay, pretty decent. Okay, good. So this is good feedback, because I can tell if you guys are like, he's crazy or not.
Well, that's separate. You are crazy.
I volunteer that. I am crazy. This doesn't fix that problem. Okay, so pressing on.
I just was gonna point out that this is like car-based towards the street, and one of the feedbacks that we got in one of the presentations that we gave to a small group was like, I don't care about you building it for me. Just give me the hook so I can connect it to my own CI.
Correct.
So that's just an example of like, this is off away. If you have strong ideas on how you would want to use this, please join us in the conversation and not a team.
And P.S., I'd like for all of this to not be owned by GCentral. This is our tool set. We can make it do whatever we need it to do. Right? All right, pressing on. So what might this build process look like? Maybe. Well, it should better be free. Better be open source and extensible. Build multiple package types. The last thing I want is for GCentral to do anything that causes further ecosystems to develop. Let's bridge those gaps versus causing larger silos. Needs to be aware of the GCentral repo. Should determine build order, integrate with continuous integration, have an API command, blah, 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 blah. More to our point is, if we can put a build process in the community's hands to make the build and distribution easier, we allow us to focus our creative energies on actually creating good ideas. All right.
That ... at the end, that's where you guys come in. Help us go talk about this on our Lava G. Help us come up with these requirements. Give us your user stories. Help us be able to further clarify our requirements.
Okay, so one of the other things that we could do is, let's imagine that you come up with, I need to make something up, the paying program. I need a way of, as a potential consumer, learning about it. So I need a product page that teaches me about the thing that you've done. I think that as engineers, we are fantastic about creating value, and we are terrible about saying why it's valuable. This is meant to convey value to a potential consumer of your code. So a product page could programmatically be generated. Its purpose is to educate, to tell people why you should use it, inspire confidence to use it. Is this going to format my hard drive? No. Trust me. And then, this is probably one of the most overlooked things. Build brand credibility for yourself. Why would anybody contribute code? Well, there's altruistic reasons. I agree with that. But now let's imagine you want to, I don't know, go apply for a job somewhere else. That employer could go to GCentral and look at your body of work and say, yeah, that person is recognized for what they've done. So I think that that's all the purpose of a product page. What could live on the product page? To educate, what's the project's name, a README, design documentation, blah, 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 blah. How do we inspire confidence that this is something that you want? Number of downloads, number of other packages in the community that link against your package. Does it have a test suite? Does it link to an online SEC repo? Is there issue tracking? There's lots of ways that we can still those are just metrics. We could come up with a long list of that. And the last one is, again, building a brand. Who are you linked to? Your personal site, your business page, what are your MI certifications? I like to programmatically generate as much of that as possible, but allow you to customize it for each thing that you want to distribute. Okay, here's an example. If you haven't gotten a chance to visit gpackage.io, I think this is one of the leaders, one of the best examples that we have on the product page. You kind of get all this stuff generated for you for free. So let's imagine that we go to Steve Ball's continuous integration system that he presented on. And at least on the right-hand side, we already see what's the license, the company link. There's the online Bitbucket if you want to go and look at. There's some stats. Oh, there's a description, a change log, instantaneously. I love that. That's pretty awesome. I know that NI Package Manager is considering doing something similar. But suffice to say, leaps and bounds ahead of a lot of what we have today. Now, I don't want to downplay VI Package Manager either. VI Package Manager has a lot of this information as well. Okay, so that was the I want to give my stuff away. Now we have the how do I go add to Quentin's queue controls? Well, I don't want to create a brand new copy and release my flavor. I want to enhance what he has. How do we go about doing that? That's what we're going to talk about here. Okay, well, first, Why are there advantages in even doing this? That's a whole lot of text. I'm sorry. So the advantages are, okay, so the community isn't confused by multiple packages that do the same thing. We already have lots of JSON packages. Each of them have their advantages and disadvantages. I would argue that us having a whole bunch of packages fractures the community's creative energy versus all of us contributing to a single thing and making it what we really need. So that's an advantage of co-development.
But we need different things.
So when we need different things, those things should exist. When we don't need different things, they shouldn't.
Basically, the quote I think Jeff said in one of our meetings is, let's not reinvent the wheel in ignorance.
Exactly. Out of ignorance. You should at least know that there's something out there that's close to what you want, and there might be reasons that you need to not, enhance it. I get it. But you should at least have the option. Right?
Yeah, lean towards enhancement rather than recreate. Correct. If you can.
Oh, here's something else that's cool. By doing co-development, we can actually start to learn from each other's experience. We can start to see common coding practices. We're looking at each other's code because we're enhancing. Okay, why don't we do this? So, what are the problems? Next page. I can't easily find this thing that's out there. That's the find and use problem. It's too expensive to evaluate. I have to go and take a look at Dimitri's code. I don't know how Dimitri's got his directory structure organized. I don't know how there's no standards. So it makes it difficult for me to evaluate Dimitri's code, though it would be in my best interest to learn everything I can from this man. Okay, it takes too much, again, to decipher another person's code disorganization. There's no way of knowing if Dimitri is going to be responsive to my requests. So why should I invest in Dimitri's code, like a pull request? What if I introduce a bug into Dimitri's code? I don't want to do that. I need a way of knowing if I'm going to screw up with the code. That's right. Here's a good one. I love everything that Dimitri's done. I want to contribute to it. I want to use that work, but I use G packages, and he distributes his code as VI packages. So sorry. Maybe there's a poor API design. Definitely not by Dimitri. You get the idea. These are the reasons why we don't necessarily work together. All right. So how can GCentral help here? We should at least be able to give you enough information to know if you should originate or enhance. So this is if you're gonna do something, don't do it out of ignorance. So you go to GCentral, maybe you quit searching for some code and read some product pages. You can learn about the developer. You can get to the source and hopefully quickly evaluate it. So that's what GCentral.org gives you. Maybe we provide some software templates and I'll skip to that. And the whole entire point is, once you go to GCentral and you look at our stuff, you can figure out whether or not to enhance or originate. And the hope is, maybe we start doing enhancement more and originating less. So we make the tools that we actually need for our community. Let's go through an example. So I go to GCentral and I decide, yeah, I need to do something actually new. So I'm going to originate. Okay? So what if GCentral had some starter repos in each of the major Git flavors that's already set up to go through the community build process, already has a disk organizational structure, already has maybe some boilerplate documentation, and you just fork and go. So what are the advantages to that? We have a standard directory structure we can all start to become familiar with. And I know that standards are quickly broken. I get it. But the absence of standards doesn't help out either. These repos can include a standard LV project designed to work with the community build process. Hopefully fully documented. There's the whole entire point. It gives you a starting point. You're not starting from scratch. And then you're kind of starting to do what everybody else is doing. We're starting to get standard proliferation. Okay, what might that template look like? Here's maybe what our LabVIEW project would look like. Just an example. You've got build specification, custom build steps. And, all you have to do is put your stuff in the source directory and we'll build it. Okay, press it. How do I do all this with confidence? Well, why do I need confidence? Couple different reasons. I need to trust your code. So pressing on. I need to be confident that the code I use in my mission critical application is going to be around. How about that? If I link to somebody's website out there, how do I know that that piece of software is going to be around 5 years from now? You go to pypi.org. If you have never been to pypi, it's phenomenal. And it's spelled pypi.org, I think. It's the Python Packaging Index.org. This is what you get to. You land on their site and you're immediately convinced this is legitimate. The stuff that's on here is going to be around for a while, and there's some big names that believe it. So how do I know it's legitimate? As of today, there's over, I think there's close to 200,000 reuse libraries out there. So lots of people are getting on board with this. Those libraries have millions of releases, tons of files on Adobe users. Good. So this is like a legit thing. And at the bottom, here are the sponsors. There are big name companies that believe in Python for a variety of different reasons. So this is going to allow me, the community member, to say, I can go find and use code, contribute, and co-develop using GCentral because maybe we have some stuff like this. So it's worth my investment. Okay. We need to be able to do it. So confidence means I need to be able to get to your code and determine if it's good enough for me to use. Does it meet my fault? And again, I think this is where the product page comes into play. We can inspire confidence in the code I'm intending to distribute by looking at the number of downloads, the number of payment packages, enter other statistics here. The whole entire point is I, as a consumer, need to be confident in your code. I need to be confident in the distribution mechanism as well. And then, what comes next? Oh, right. You can finally find your code. You can be confident that you're not missing a tool that's been out for a long time. I have been embarrassed on so many occasions when I go to NI Week, and I said, guys, I just wrote this really cool tool that does this thing, the LabVIEW IDE, and everybody else just looks at each other and says, great, it's been out for a while. But the confidence is you know that what you're working on and originating is an original idea, because you can find all of the code that's out there. Make sense? Okay. How are we going to pay for this? What's the funding plan? What does participation look like? Because this is where we're released the road. One of the things I appreciate about what Jeff said is this is going to be a community initiative. Not only in terms of defining what it should do, using it, co-developing it, and funding it. So let's talk about that real quick. Let's talk about that quickly. There are three branches to our funding strategy. The first is GCentral is going to identify companies where LabVIEW is mission critical for them. One of those companies I can think of right off the top of my head is, National Instruments. They would probably be interested in seeing GCentral be successful for a variety of different reasons. I think that then I would consider LabVIEW mission critical for their success. Well, there's lots of other companies out there that fall in this category, like the Centers of Excellence, or alliance partners, or consultants. That's the people who are in this room. How do we all stand to benefit from GCentral? We need to stop wrapping the tree API and share that, because there's no value in wrapping the tree API. Not real value, not according to the customer. What if all the reuse stuff that we were just discussing, that diminishes over time because our reuse libraries grow in number, we can all have access to them. We're really not going to give our IP away and get that. But the things that really don't add, let's just start sharing. Questions on that? I feel that being somewhat of a contentious point, and I get it. One of the things I appreciate about Composed Systems, the NDA framework, we build a lot of stuff on top of it. It's open source. There's no reason to reinvent this. It's well architected. We should all be using something like it, if not it itself. Okay, that's the first prong. The second prong, we want to form these partnerships with companies where our community leaders work. So that's like the LabVIEW champions. If you're a LabVIEW champion, I'd love for you to represent GCentral to your company. I'd love for you to pave the way for a conversation from any one of GCentral's members to your company to discuss funding. That also goes for Center of Excellence tech leads, and by the way, CLAs. So if you want to help out, pave the way for a conversation from us to your financial decision makers, so that we can say, this is part of the reason why you should be investing in this. It might save you money in the long term.
I'll introduce you to my wife, Chris.
Say it again?
I'll introduce you to my wife.
Done. And the last one is individual contributions through the Kickstarters. As we talk about these different phases, we might have a Kickstarter just to the world at large where people can start to contribute. And that's where each of us individually can step in. Here's the reason I'm hammering on this. Oftentimes, I think we come up with ideas and we rely on somebody else to move the needle. The ball is in our court, lock, stock, and barrel. We can make a difference here. This is one of the ways we can make a difference. Something else that we can do to make a difference is take a survey, actually 2 surveys, great. Let us know as GCentral, what do you think about this thing? Are they crazy? We already know I'm crazy. But is this a good idea? What does it look like for you to participate? How might you want to join? How can we inspire others to join? And then join the conversation on LabVIEW. Like this spot up on LabVIEW just came into existence 24 hours ago. And we're starting a conversation there. So join in. We can make, I think, a real impact, especially as this coincides with LabVIEW Community Edition. And I would submit, this is probably going to be some of the best use of our time individually and collectively over the next 3 years. I think that's it. Oh, okay, last slide, call to action. Fill out the surveys, join the conversation, volunteer on GCentral.org. Go get your hands on a copy of LabVIEW NXG. You're welcome to NI. And start learning it and participate in actually creating that website. If you don't like where the button is placed, change it. Add some more functionality, right? Sponsor through crowdfunding, spread the word. That's what those buttons are for. Put that on your monitor. You wear it on every piece of clothing that you have. It's your flag. Anyway, so please do take those buttons. And at least consider when you're like, I'm going to create a new reuse library. Go here first, see if it already exists. That's important. Okay, that's our last slide. Do we have any questions, comments, thoughts? Chief?
Something that might help is allowing users to tag libraries. So allowing users to tag libraries, if I'm looking for something and I have some keywords in mind that I think are associated with this thing, but the name for it is completely different. How am I going to find the thing?
Got it. No, that would be nice. Okay, so this is PyPy.
Gpackage has keyword searches.
Okay, so my keyword here. What if I don't have the right keyword? I need to be able to browse what already exists. So in addition to keywords, that also assumes that you know the magic keyword, but what if you don't? What if you spell pain management as P-A-I-N? Please. Yeah, that's pretty cool. So you can browse through various categories, because you might not know what the keywords are that even exist. There's lots of ways that we can solve that problem, and you're absolutely right. There may be multiple ways that we get to what we're looking for. Keywords is one. Some organizational structure I can browse through is another. This is already a solved problem. We just need to do the exact thing. Love it. That's a really great point.
Help us document that on Lava. That's one of the requirements that we need to be looking at.
As a user, I need to not know what the name of the thing is and be able to search for it by category. Ship it. Other thoughts?
So there's projects like the .NET Foundation, Apache Foundation. Some of the things they do is, if there are libraries that are used by a large set of people, they're not maintained, or they want some kind of shared maintenance, having it like go under that organization so that it can stay alive and stay maintained.
Yep. Okay, so let's imagine that we get everything that we just described solved. We can all find and use code. Fantastic. All right, and imagine that there's a library out there that people want to use, but nobody really wants to maintain. And lots of people, say 10,000 people, would like to use this one library or have it updated. A possible thing that we're considering is GCentral acts as kind of sort of a funding arm of the community will. So we go raise money or do Kickstarters, get a certain threshold of money, and go hire a contractor to refresh. So GCentral, in effect, takes over ownership. Right, so how does that work? I don't know. But that's certainly something that we could envision.
Yeah, this is something that we thought about maybe way down the road after we've established this stuff. Act as almost the community's version of the idea exchange.
Yeah.
But one step further where, okay, we go see if there's enough votes for it, and if there's enough votes for it, we actually use our funding arm to help fund that thing getting created.
Right.
Either we hire the initial idea person that if they want to do it, or we find someone that will build it for us. John?
So you mentioned some pretty large potential sources for funding. Have you considered pursuing anything that would be a little bit smaller that people can contribute individually, like maybe Patreon account or something like that?
So I think there's, yes, two answers to that. One might be the Kickstarter funds where you can actually individually contribute. We're working with some Austin community folks around here that they have a website where you can just go contribute. That winds up in GCentral's account. So yes, we need to enable individual sponsorship as well. We'll work on it. That's a really good point.
Yeah, one of the things that we just barely got incorporated. That was the first step. The next step is the IRS actually recognizing us as a nonprofit. We have an interim that will let us start taking donations that will still give you the tax exemption that you want, or the tax deduction you want. That's the word I was looking for. That's not quite in place yet, but once it is, one of the things we're looking into is either Patreon, Kickstarter, GoFundMe, whatever. I'm not sure which one we're going to end up going with. And then we'll make sure that everybody knows, and hopefully if you guys can, you help. But, yeah.
Other thoughts? We have about 5 minutes left.
So everything I've seen is like for the purpose of this is to, have packages or kind of end-use tools that will be used in projects by the community, or to create one and have people participate in it. But what about smaller things like, oh, I have this VI that just kind of shows you a technique for doing something cool in that? Is there a way to kind of separate those out? It's not something that anybody's going to take and download and add to their project.
Right, so what GCentral is particularly targeting is code designed for reuse. Now, for what you're suggesting, there's all the current avenues of today. As a matter of fact, I believe that NI is working on refining their searching capabilities so that you can find those example snippets a whole lot easier. I think, maybe, I don't know. Anyways, I don't know that that's in GCentral's purview because we want to actually do this. We'd like to make things available through packages because of all of the advantages of packages. So if you want to take your code snippet and put it in the package, that's great. Go for it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I guess I think there's the same problem of having things like that discoverable as well. I don't know.
Agreed.
Yeah, but NI is working on that. NI is working on making example code accessible. And this is one of the big discussions we had with them, is examples are not reusable code. Reusable code is not necessarily example. They can be used as such, but it's a separate thing. And we would like to focus on reusable.
But why do I have to go to a different place?
Scoping. If you go to a one place to do everything, well, yeah, it's scoping. We're trying to do, it's just a matter of scoping. Cost of time.
It's one place to go.
Yes.
No, I'd say so.
That's a package. It's a package.
Yeah,
And that's
so-
why we said reusable code and software engineering tools.
Software-
So what you're describing, it would be in the software engineering tools.
John.
Can you repeat
So-
that?
Oh.
We missed out on
Sam's
Sam's
question.
question.
Sorry, my question was about tools, so like scripting tools that then generate code, do they count? And they said yes, and they actually said that at the beginning, and I missed it, so, well.
I was going to throw out some about examples. So for examples that are for the code that would be in GCentral stuff, GCentral will point you to like GitHub or whatever repository, and a lot of times those repositories there can handle the information in the README. Oh, if you want to find an example, there's another repository I'll point you to go download it. So that's one way it can be handled.
Good call. Other calls? So I'm curious, what's the next action somebody would take with this if you were to try to do anything? Anybody? Yell something out. Shoot.
I've got, Sam and I have something that's only available right now on the forums that I think we need to get through code accessible.
So you already have some code that's only on the forums that you would like to make more accessible out to the world.
Yes.
It's okay. If you have any questions, feel free to come up to myself, Quentin, Fabiola, any of the other folks that was on that list. I'd be happy to talk to you about it. Okay? Oh, one more.
I just want to say I want this idea, so.
Thank you. It's been a work in progress, but that's very encouraging. All right, y'all, thank you very much.